Next. You got nothing. You have nothing except being lazy and believing nonsense.
All right, I'm talking to Dave Weiss. It's my second time talking to you, Dave. I'm super grateful to talk to you again. The first thing I would love to just start with is like, how's Flat Earth doing these days? You know, you're on the front lines. You have the app. You have the channel. You're doing all the interviews. I see you're super busy. What's that like? What do you see from the perspective of
I
Flat
see,
Earth?
I see the world waking up to the reality that we're in. I see it as being the key to freeing us from the slavery that people don't even realize that they're in. It's Plato's allegory of the cave. People have no idea that there's more, and because they don't know there's more, they don't realize that they're in a cage. So, I have a question for you though. Can I flip it around for a second?
Please, always, yes, please.
So we did an interview a year ago. How long ago was that?
Yeah, a year ago about.
And
Yeah.
in your reservation, you think the Earth is a spinning globe.
Yes.
You did. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
been a year. You've been obsessed with flat Earth. You've watched my stuff. We've had an interview.
Yes.
So how
Yes.
does that happen to somebody? Is it because you have a new baby and you just don't have time to research and you just Google and Google's feeding your mind, or what is
We'll
there?
talk about it. We have an hour. We'll get to that. We'll get to all that.
All right.
But listen, yeah. Tell me a bit. I'm gonna answer that question eventually, but we're just starting. So let's give it some time. How's your summer going? Are you still windsurfing these days?
Kite surfing.
Kite surfing. Sorry.
Yeah.
How's that going?
There's not much wind in the summer here, but when we get a windy day, it's nice. So yeah, I'm a water guy. I'm on the water a lot.
Nice. Do you sunblock when you're out there?
No, I don't wear sunglasses, so I don't need sunblock.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
Because you're when you trick your eyes, the sunglasses are another big conspiracy hoax. When you put sunglasses on, your body doesn't know how sunny it is, and it doesn't make the melanin. We've been here for whether you're an evolutionist or a God created person, we are here, and we have the ability to protect ourselves from the sun. And when you put sunglasses on, your eyes don't know to make the melanin to protect yourself. So don't believe me, just try it. Go out in the sun without sunblock, without sunglasses on. Okay. Most people that get sunburn, they can't even go outside without sunglasses because their eyes are so weak from wearing sunglasses. So that's it. I don't wear sunblock at all.
I've been sunburned before. Have you been sunburned before?
Yeah. I was wearing sunglasses.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Cool. Listen, I checked out your app. I think your app is amazing. I think it's incredible what you built. You got to be real proud of yourself. I mean, also like creating an app like that is a huge project, and maintaining it with that many users. How's the app been doing? How's development been on that app? How's that project been coming along?
The app is going absolutely bonkers. We just hit 111,000 people on the friend finder. So people say, how's Flat Earth doing? It's dying. Does this look like Flat Earth is dying to you? These are just the people that are on the friend finder in my app. Okay.
I'm in there, by the way. You can find my house in that list.
Cool. So I'm not sure if I can find your house because it doesn't put you that close. So I mean, there's people everywhere. We even have people in Antarctica. Okay, there's a guy in Antarctica right there. Bam. And the app is doing amazing well, but it's about to take another turn. It's about to have a new profile section. I'll give you a quick preview of what it looks like. This is it's going to be kind of like Facebook, where you have your full profile, all sorts of information about you, your socials. Here you got friends, suggested friends, and then you have your wall, and you can put stuff here, and friends can post on your wall. So this way, when you want to go check somebody out, you can really get a feel of what they're like. And then once everybody's on here, I'm going to make it so you can put in either hashtags or check boxes on, hey, I'm a kite surfer, I'm a real estate broker, I'm single, that's already in there. But you have all of these things. So let's say I want to move to Florida. I could say real estate broker, Florida, and now I can find all the flat earth real estate brokers. Or I could say, hey, I'm in Florida. I want to find I want to go have a place. I want to go eat somewhere. Does any flat earthers own a restaurant or work at a restaurant? Bam. I could type in restaurants, whatever town I'm in. Bam. And I could go meet other flat earthers just like that and support other flat earthers. So the meme of a couple of years ago of Glober saying, oh, what are you going to do? No one's ever going to hire you. No, we're not going to hire you. The table has flipped. Okay. We're not hiring you and we don't want to work for you. All right. So that's coming and hopefully it comes this week. But I've been saying that for 2 months because the development is normal. I just expect things to be fast. So,
yeah, I think a lot of people don't appreciate how much work goes into something like this. People who aren't tech savvy, they're just consumers of apps. They assume these things just sort of come out of the ready made, which is not the case. I imagine this has been a huge investment of time and labor and energy.
Time, money, labor, the whole thing. Have you checked out the video chats where you can actually video chat with people and talk to them? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Group chat rooms, everything. So
yeah,
there you go.
Amazing.
And
are you worried like you might become the next Mark Zuckerberg? You'll build
I would never be a Mark Zuckerberg.
Facebook empire.
Why not? No, because you know what? The people like that, they've sold their souls. They sold their souls, and that's a whole nother podcast. But I'll never sell my soul because I'm on a journey, and my goal is not money. It's to seek ultimate knowledge and share it with others. And we're always in a state of learning. Anyone that says the science is settled is an idiot. I mean, science is never settled. Okay. Science is, hey, this is the best scientific method. We've used the scientific method. This is what we know for now, unless something else comes in that can prove it wrong. And, we use the scientific method, flat earthers are science deniers. No, we're not. We actually use the scientific method. The heliocentric people, they just say the word science, physics. They quote people from history books that are made up and they think that's science. No, that's not science. We're doing the science. Okay. We're looking at the geometry of the earth. The globe earth has a geometry to it that can't be denied. There's a distance where you have to have a physical horizon depending on your altitude. Well, that horizon doesn't exist. And the Globers even admit they don't have a physical horizon, that you can only see an optical horizon. What? That's crazy. Oh, the earth is too big. The earth is too big. You're just a little micron. And you can't see the curve, but you can see boats go over the horizon. And your curvature formula tells us that there's 6 feet of curvature at just 3 miles, 66 feet at 10 miles, over a mile at 100 miles. Okay. And, and you can't see the curvature. That's a problem for me.
I hear you. I think Mark Zuckerberg's also a kite surfer, if I'm not mistaken. So
no, absolutely not. He is not a kite surfer. Don't even suggest that.
No, okay.
Don't even suggest that. He's a Rockefeller grandchild. That's a fact. Okay. And he I don't even believe he's who they say he is, but go ahead.
Reptilian, you think?
I don't know about that. I mean, I think he's a human, but he's in the elite families and doing the bidding for the government. The government wanted a way to track everybody, and somehow Congress said no because enough people weren't bought off, I guess. And then so they got rid of that project, and Facebook popped up the next day doing exactly what the government wanted. Okay, everything and more. Okay, they're like, how can we get mapping details of everyone? So we want people to map their faces. Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll make Instagram and we'll make masks that people can put on and filters. So they have to map their face for us and then tag their own names and then report it. I mean, literally everybody did everything they wanted them to do, that they wanted to do, and they did it for them. Hey, how can we get people's DNA, so we can actually track every person? Oh, we'll make a thing for finding your family history. Send us your DNA. Okay. And we'll charge them for it too. Okay. We won't pay them.
You're not going to do face filters in your flat earth social network? That'd be awesome.
What? Here's the thing. If you don't think you're on a face, on your face has been mapped, it's too late for that. Your face has been mapped. Every picture that's ever been online is mapping your face. Every camera, traffic camera, store camera, security camera, phone, everything is mapping your face. So you're already mapped. And the question is, what are you going to do to stop the evil that's being done with it? And the answer is, I say don't live in fear and seek truth, share it with others, be charitable, and obey God's laws. Very simple. You don't have to read 7,000 pages of nonsense. You basically got laws. Don't kill anybody. Don't steal from anybody. And you know, don't be a dick. That's
I'm down with that. Let's talk about Eric Dubay for a second. He came out with a new book recently, which I've been perusing. You have it there. He's considered one of the OGs
oh,
in
he
this
is,
movement.
the OG, I
But
guess.
there's also drama, right, between you and Eric. Can we talk about
I
that?
have he has drama with me. He thinks that I'm a paid shill. He thinks that I'm trying to control all of the information on Flat Earth. With my app, I'm trying to gain control. Actually, YouTube is hiding all of the information. Like you search Flat Earth, you're not going to find anything. On my app, every user can find information. Nobody can name a good Flat Earth video that's not featured on my app, including Eric Dubay's videos. So how anybody could say that I'm trying to control the flow of information? I actually only dream of having a team of people: Eric Dubay, Jaron, ODD, Hibbler, and 15 other people that all say search and search and search and find and make great videos and say, hey, Dave, these are great videos. We need to feature these. Hey, this is a new playlist that needs to be in the app. Hey, this should be added to the gravity section. You know, I would dream of a team of people doing that. Right now, I'm the only one doing it. I do the whole thing. Okay. So, you know, to say that I'm out here to control the information, you know, now because I'm on so many shows, I'm definitely put out there by the elite. That's what Eric Dubay is saying. Okay. There's no way that this Jew, all right? I was born Jewish. I don't even know he knows more about the Jewish religion than I do. Okay. I don't know anything. Right. And he's saying that that I came out of nowhere and I'm all these shows. Let me ask you a question. How did I end up on your show?
I invited you on, of course. I reached out to you. I want to talk to you.
Okay, there you go. And I've done a lot of work reaching out to people, and I've had other people helping me reach out to people. That's it. That's how I do it. I work hard. That's how. Okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. I found you through other talks that you've done and through your social media presence.
I encourage everybody to go to Eric Dubay's IFERS, IFERS, I believe, .com or whatever it is. Just search Eric Dubay, IFERS, or just go to any of his videos. It's linked there. And then go to the blog or whatever and search my name and click David Weiss Exposed. And go through that 6 pages or how many pages of it with a discerning mind. Okay. And tell me if you can find one.
Can we just be honest, you and me, and say, listen, Eric Dubay, for all his strengths, he's obviously anti-Semitic, right? I mean, he sees your Jewish name and that's it. It sets him off, right?
So you know, that could be it. That could be the reason that he's gone there. But I don't think that's the main reason why he does that, you know. And a lot of people say, you know, Eric Dubay mixed Holocaust denialism with flat Earth to discredit flat Earth, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Eric Dubay does some very interesting research, and there's a lot of stuff that's interesting. I deny it, and you know, but here's the problem: Eric Dubay has caused more division in the flat Earth community than any globe troll, any flat Earth, you know, troll. The professionals all together, Eric's caused more division, right? And then, you know, the mainstream media has linked Holocaust denialism with flat Earth because of Eric Dubay. Now, I'm not blaming him. I don't think he did it on purpose. Maybe a lot of people do think that he did it on purpose. I'm not saying Eric Dubay is even chill. I just think he's a guy that I have no idea what his problem is, and I really don't even like talking about him.
I know. I'll tell you the normie perspective, though. Okay, and you can tell me what you think of this. The normie perspective, when you encounter someone like Eric Dubay, which happens, you know, you say like, someone who denies the Holocaust, right? So the Holocaust is something where it personally affected my family in a very profound way. There's like
absolutely
a lot of Holocaust memory in my life, and it's something that's so well documented. You say when someone denies the Holocaust, like they're like unbalanced. Like there's something, their faculties for finding out about reality, their faculties of like coming to good conclusions based on evidence and like doing research is like flawed.
Let me ask you
what happens in the normie world is when you encounter someone like that, you say like they are just like totally off base, and you like reject, you know, so all the things they have to say.
Here's the Holocaust and other big events like the school in Connecticut. You bring it up, and no one, people that, you know, were affected by that aren't willing to look at any information. Do you agree? Could you agree that there's some false information over the years mixed in with the Holocaust information, that some wrong shit was mixed in there?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's not what Eric Dubay does, though. Eric Dubay is playing a different game.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Okay. But the whole 6 million number, that's really weird. If you actually look at it, it's impossible. It's like the number of injections that people got over the COVID. If there was 5 manufacturing plants that could make a V every second of every day without stopping, 5 of them running continually, it would take over 10 years just to give everybody one. And now they're saying that people have had 2, 3, and 4. Okay. It would take 10 years to make them at that rate. And they don't even have that manufacturing rate. So they're lying about numbers. They're lying about population. They're lying about the number of people that have gotten it, number of people that exist. They're lying about how big the world is. They're lying about numbers everywhere. So with that said, I'm not saying that, with that said, they're lies. So everyone go investigate. Nothing should be off the table. Go investigate me. Everyone, please go to Eric DePay's thing. It's actually quite comical, right? And then he has videos by Stinky Cash on there, another anti-Semitic person that has said incredibly hateful things to me personally. And I was like, wow, I have no idea where that came from. So here's the thing. Energy flows where attention goes where energy flows, where energy flows where attention goes. I don't like putting energy over there. Let's talk about stuff here. How's your new baby? How old's your baby?
Fair, 3 months. Fair enough. I'm gonna drop him off with his mother, who just came home, and I'll be back with you in 1 minute, and we will continue this.
Okay.
All right.
Don't show his face because it'll get mapped. All right, go ahead.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. And with that said, this is a great book. Okay. I'm probably responsible for selling more than half of his books, whether he knows it or not, but I don't really care. It's a good book. Put it on your coffee table. When somebody comes over and picks it up, don't say anything. Just let them start paging through it and they'll become a flat earther.
But come on, there's got to be stuff in there which is nonsense, right? I mean, Eric DeBay, we've established, is not the best when it comes to,
listen, I don't get everything right. And Eric DeBay, he's with his lighthouse stuff, he calls it 200 proofs and he has like 15 lighthouse proofs. I count that as one. I'm not saying that's bad. It's okay. You want a proof after proof after proof. There's actually nothing in that book that I actually haven't gone through it with a fine tooth comb, but he's hitting all the basic points. It's the frequently asked questions. It's the simple stuff. Right.
Okay.
There's some stuff that I could do better. There's some stuff that Jaron could do better. There's some stuff that lots of people can do better. Right. But if we all work together, that rather than saying, hey, there's a conference going on, looks like thousands of people are going, and Eric goes, don't go, they're all shills. And then only 800 people show up. That's a kind of dick move.
Okay. Let's talk about politics for a second. One world government or different governments around the world?
Oh, it's one world government, no doubt.
One world government?
Yeah, I mean, they state it themselves, but they're all in it together. All the space programs are hoaxing together, but they're kind of doing it independently. And like, if you look at the India, they're landing on the moon like in a couple days. It's going to be such a joke. It's such a joke.
Why? Because like CGI, you think?
So the last time they did the moon landing, everyone was watching and it's going and they're showing a cartoon and all of a sudden it goes black. They're like, oh, it crashed, and they're all like, oh, it crashed, so cool,
That was the Israeli lander, right? That's what you're talking about.
Was that the Israeli one or was that the Indian one?
I know the Israeli one crashed. I watched it live. I don't know. I
think it's changing out of India. This is the Indian one right now. It's orbiting the moon. Okay, look at this thing. First, what shape is this? Okay, what is that? And just look at this. Anybody with a discerning mind, look at this stupid thing. This is supposedly real. Okay? This is what they're showing us. Okay? Anybody that believes this, I can't help you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help you. I can't help you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then this years ago, they showed us this is the Russians landing on the moon.
That doesn't look real. I don't think that's real.
This is what they showed us. Now, here's something they do.
Non-real footage obviously exists, right? That's not a question. Of course, movies and artists
but
and all sorts of people have created fake stuff.
Here's what they do.
That's all out there. The question is there also
no, there's real stuff, there's real fake stuff, and there's fake real stuff. Okay. It's like known knowns and unknown knowns, like Donald Rumsfeld. They'll show us something as real. Everyone buys into it. Great. They'll show us something as real. A bunch of people buy into it. And then later they go, oh, no, that's not real. That's from a movie. That's from this. That's from that. And they're like, oh, yeah, it was. But then they never retract it. It's like front page of the news of the New York Times says that you are a pedophile, whatever. That's a horrible example, but you're this horrible crime you've committed, and the whole world hates you, and all the newspapers report on it. It's everywhere. Your life's hell. And then they realize, oh, it wasn't him. And then so they on the back page, in a little tiny ad, they put a little thing. Oh yeah, it wasn't him. Wasn't him. Okay, that's what NASA does. And they always have a backup. Like when we expose something, they're like, "Oh, yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, that was. The picture of the Earth, the blue marble that they showed us as real." Then they back out of it, and they have their NASA visual artists going, "Yeah, I made it in Photoshop. I made it in Photoshop." So they always back out. So there's always a normie excuse for everything. So
gotcha. Voting. Do you vote in elections or no?
No, local elections, yes.
Okay, so there's a difference between the local and the national, I guess. Like, where does that cutoff happen? So, like, is the state senate local or is the state senate more national?
No, I just do like town stuff.
Just town stuff. So, like, once you're on the state level, is it already, you think, under control?
I think the higher you go, the more corrupt it is. It's all nonsense. I think that the whole system's fixed, and I think though that voting does matter, because they have the voting machines rigged, so they have their candidate win. And I think maybe during the Trump run, where he lost, too many people broke the algorithm, and they had to stop the voting and insert all of these votes and stuff. And if you watch 2000 Mules and all that stuff, it proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's fake, that it's all rigged. But
I gotta be careful with some of the stuff. I've run afoul of YouTube before. I gotta really I gotta toe the line with YouTube, otherwise my channel is gonna get.
That's all. I won't say any more than that. I don't know. It looks kind of weird, but I don't participate.
Okay. Let's see here. So how far away is the moon from us? Like in the stars? How do you think about the firmament? Let's talk about the model. Like, what's the firmament?
Well, we're not making claims. We observable reality shows us that the sun and moon are the same size, that they're within our atmosphere. Observable reality shows us that the sun, moon, and stars all rise in the east, set in the west, and the sky is moving and that we're stationary and level. Observable reality shows us that, we're stationary, the sky is moving, things are a certain size, but the globe reality is, oh, no. It just looks that way, but it's trying to deceive you. We're actually spinning and everything else is staying still. Okay. So how far is the moon? I don't know. But can we prove that it's not 238,000 miles away, reflecting sunlight? Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And this is a question, which I was wondering, we touched on it a little bit last time, but we don't have to touch on it a lot. It's just, again, just like simple question. If I were to buy an expensive accelerometer, would I measure rotation or no? And why?
So there's all different types of accelerometers, but they're programmed with 9.8 meters per second squared. So like if you take an accelerometer like in your phone and I put it on a desk, I think it thinks it's moving at 9.8 meters per second, or something like that. I'm not buying any of it. But the thing is, the rotation of the sky can be translated down to the earth. When you use ring laser gyro, you can register the rotation of the sky. So how can you tell if it's the earth rotating or the ring laser gyro? Well, if it's the earth rotating, you could bring it at the same latitude to different altitudes at the top of a mountain versus the bottom of a valley, and it would measure the exact same rotation. But if it's the sky that's moving, these different altitudes would register a different amount. And when we actually do that, it registers a significantly different amount, therefore proving that the sky is rotating and not the earth.
Okay. And Foucault's pendulum, is that a real thing? No?
No, Foucault's pendulum first, the whole translation, it would only work on the North Pole and South Pole on a spinning globe. Otherwise, it doesn't even make any sense. Then if you look into Foucault's pendulum, they it has a motor in it, and that you watch these things, they get it spinning, and that it goes the wrong way, so they have to stop it and do it again. And some weird stuff happens during eclipses, where when the one is in motion, it'll change directions during an eclipse. That doesn't make any sense. But if you want to learn about Foucault's pendulum, if you go to the frequently asked section and you go to the Foucault's pendulum, is a button in here somewhere. I saw it in here. It's somewhere in here. There's a Foucault's pendulum button in there. Pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay.
But you could find on YouTube, I've seen on YouTube, like people do it themselves, right? So the idea is you put the pendulum on the North Pole in 24 hours.
No one's done that. No one's done that.
Right. The plane of rotation will go a full 360 degrees. If you do it on the equator, the plane of rotation won't move at all. But if you do it in the middle latitudes, you'll get an intermediate amount of rotation. So you won't get a full 360, but you'll get something in the middle.
But these pendulums have motors in them that have bias, and they don't work. And they do it, it's just random, and it slowly processes. And they're like, oh, that's because of the spin of the Earth. It's an assumed thing. Is it the ether spinning causing it to move? I don't think so. I think it's just a bias in the swing. I'm pretty sure I have a Foucault pendulum in here, and I don't see it. But go ahead, continue.
Okay. Cool. Let's talk about maps for a second. I mean, one of the amazing things about a flat Earth map is that it would accurately represent the sizes and shapes of like countries, whereas no globe Earth map does.
Foucault's pendulum right there. Sorry.
Nice. Okay, it's there. You gotta download the app and you'll get it.
FlatEarthDave.com.
I'll be sure to check it out.
All right, good. No, FlatEarthDave.com is where you can find all my stuff. Good.
Here's a way of phrasing the question. Like, okay, do you think that countries, that we have accurate size representations of countries? Like, is it, like I know the size of the house property that I live on, right? Like if the surveyor or whatever took the measurements. That I can tell you is very accurate. Do we also know accurately like the size of the United States, or like the size of New York, or the size of India? Like, do we have those sizes accurately or no?
So no, we don't. And they admit it. If you look at the Mercator map, this is the Mercator map, and they say the actual size is the darker color. Okay. So the United States is really this size. And and so if you look at it, funny thing is, if you take these sizes and look at this, the Gleason's map, or this representation of the Gleason's map, they all match up. Okay. So the sizes that they tell us they really are coincidentally match up with what the best map that we have, the map that's used for navigation, the map that was taken out of schools, libraries, and encyclopedias in the 1950s. That map, the map that they actually navigate with.
Yeah. Let's do this really cool experiment, if you don't mind. I have it here, hopefully. So can you see my screen really quick? This is truesize.com. This demonstrates exactly what you were saying, right? So your image is still up, which is good, because this is so if I go to, so Greenland looks huge. If I type in Greenland, and then I have this overlay and I can drag it down, look how tiny it gets.
That's because it's a projection. They're taking, they say that we took the flat Earth map and stretched out the globe. No, it's the other way around. They took our map that was here before the globe map, and they wrapped it around a sphere, and there's missing parts, and that explains a lot of stuff that's going on in this world.
Right. So what was I going to ask you after this? Right. So my question is, like on this map, wherever you put Greenland, there's like a size. There's like 2.1 square kilometers, and wherever I, let's say, put Australia, there's a size of, so do you think these numbers are wrong?
No, I think on this map, that map that you're looking at is a projection map. It stretches things out, makes them bigger in the north. But if you look at the map that we use and compare it to the flat Earth map, that's actually the one that we truly use, because we live on a flat Earth, the sizes match up pretty damn well. Okay.
But not like Australia and Russia, right?
Well, so the whole thing is, we don't know if Australia is this big or this big. We don't know. Australia is massive. And there's areas of Australia that no one is allowed to go in. Nobody. You know about the dingo fences?
No.
So there's thousands of miles, I forget how big it is, of fenced area that are guarded every day, all day. It's just look up dingo fences. Okay. And they say it's to protect people from the dingoes. And they say, well, no, there was nuclear bombs that went off there years ago and it's radioactive. And they don't want people going there for whatever reason. Maybe it connects to Antarctica. I don't know. Huge areas. And then, people have done experiments with measuring train tracks and that are going straight, and they're lying about the size of Australia. Again, I'm not there. I'm not a map maker, but if you watch on my app, right? So on my app, where is it? Wherever the sun is. So let's say I know somebody in South Africa, mid Africa, that's right under the sun. I'll call them up and say, hey, where's the sun and what time is it? They go, it's noon and it's directly above me and it's hot. Okay. And then later when it's over here, I call my friend PK up. It'd be like, hey, it's off to the side a little bit. It's kind of lower in the sky, but it's noon because that's where it'll be. Right. And it matches perfectly. There's something right about this map.
But if I go into your app and I use a friend finder in Australia, I mean, I will see a lot of people in Australia cover pretty much the whole continent.
Zoom out,
right?
Zoom in, and then there'll be tiny little dots, and the
little dot, obviously.
Just so you can see them. Zoom in. You'll never cover the whole thing. And there's lots of
no, of course, but I'm saying like you have
empty area.
A pretty clear like distribution of people on Australia. So like,
no, absolutely,
it's not like half of Australia is missing or anything.
What are you talking about? Australia is very concentrated along the coast, and there's like nobody in major areas. Give us a second. Here it comes. Come on. There we go. So we'll go to Australia. Look, it's friggin' empty.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. This is where the people are, right? There's like, who's this guy? I want to talk to this guy. Okay. Yeah. Right. So if you look and every time you see that, that's another person, another flat earther's born, another flat earther's born, another flat earther's born. It's happening all the time. But there's good concentrations of people at, populated areas. Look at that. There's a lot of potential best friends, mates, work buddies, everything. Okay. So how's Flat Earth doing? It's kicking butt, my friend. Kicking butt. Because that's
well, there's one issue though with this map though. As awesome as this friend finder is, it does assume a globe, right? Because you're using Google. No. And Google assumes a globe.
We're using their services to put the dots on the proper place on their map. Yes, it is their map. Everyone's like, why don't you put it on a flat Earth map? Because the answer is Google doesn't provide those services, and I don't have $1 billion. Okay, yet. Okay, yeah. I don't have $1 billion.
Maybe if you provide a better mapping service that actually accurately represents the shape of all the countries.
Yeah. How could I do that? So I need drones. I need trillions of dollars to do that. Okay.
You already have done. More than 100,000.
Yeah. Stop counting my money. You don't have no idea.
No, users. That doesn't matter.
We're going to have 100 million. Okay. Forget it.
There you go.
Okay. And right now it's just showing you where they are, and then go try to fly to one of them. And all you have to do on a flat Earth map is draw a straight line from your location to their location on a flat Earth map. And that's the flight route you're going to take.
Okay. If I go to a website, like Flight Radar 24 that has like all the flight routes, right? Yeah. You notice that like on the southern hemisphere, like the paths take like these U shapes.
They go all the way up to the north. They go all the way up to the north and then all the way back down.
Well, on the southern hemisphere, they're like a U, and the northern hemisphere, they're sort of like upside down U's, right?
No, they're straight. They're mostly straight lines in the north, and they'll show you curved. They'll show you curved paths, like in the north, going from California to somewhere over
right.
Okay, they show you this curved path. They go, it's a great circle route. Well, that's crazy. But if you look, this is Newfoundland, this is Greenland. You see all the points.
Well, we already talked about how small Greenland is, right? Greenland is tiny.
But hold on. So this is what they're showing you on their map, but it's distorted. Look at it on a flat map. Here it is, Newfoundland. I mean, not Newfoundland. It's going through the same places.
Right. So for sure, and on a flat map projected around the North Pole, the northern hemisphere routes look much better. Now, on the South Pole, they take the opposite path. They go and use, right? Here, I'll share my screen really quick. This is from Flight Radar 24.
So just so you know, on the south, when leaving a southern location, going to another southern location, the plane 1 hour after it takes off disappears and doesn't reappear until an hour before it gets to its other destination. And it just shows you approximate mode. It doesn't show you its actual place. It shows you an approximate page. But when somebody's going, I can't point there, when they're flying from like Australia to New Zealand or somewhere, it disappears. It's not on the map. And
Very simple question, though.
We've shown it in real time. Go
ahead. Simple
ahead.
question. If this path was put on a globe, according to the globe model, would it be a straight line?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then let's see, what would this look like on a flat Earth model?
Let me show you. Let me come back. Okay. So here we have Abu Dhabi to Auckland, stops in Tokyo. So it's going all the way up here and then all the way down. On a flat Earth, it's a straight line. Okay, let's look at another one. Right, the southern flights are the worst because they spread out. This is the men's World Cup soccer. Went from Qatar, stopped in Rome because they wanted to see the Pope and to get fuel, and then they went down. Wait a minute, they went here to get fuel when they could have just flown the same distance from here to here. It's about the same distance. And the reason they did that is because you can't stop in the middle of the ocean to get fuel. But when we look at it on a flat Earth map, it's a straight line. It's a straight line. Again,
any route over the North Pole is going to look much better on a flat Earth map. There's no question about that.
False.
Like anything in the northern hemisphere.
False.
No, we talked about the distortion you get when you look at a regular map.
No.
The northern hemisphere. Look, that's a huge distortion. So things are going to look really good on a flat Earth.
Well, because the Earth is flat. Because the Earth is flat. Look at
the southern hemisphere. It's the opposite.
We go all the way up, all the way down. So here's the thing. Here's the thing you got to understand. If you're going anywhere from a northern airport to another northern airport, any combination anywhere, you would never go below the equator. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. No plane that goes from a northern airport to another northern airport ever goes below the equator. And the south, going from any southern airport to any other southern airport, there's no reason ever to cross the equator. Would you agree with that?
I think so.
Yeah, but they all do.
But not the one that I was showing you before, right?
Except some deep southern routes where they're going to someplace that's not far. But any lengthy southern route goes across the equator. Okay. They cross the equator. It's insane. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay.
Awesome.
And once you understand that, you'll be like, why? How did I ever think otherwise? Okay.
Let's talk about technology a little bit. Nuclear power. What's your stance on nuclear power?
If you look up the work of Galen Windsor, he was going around in the 1950s and 60s. He was a nuclear power expert, and he was showing you that the pools at the power plants are not bad, and he would swim in them. He would drink the water, and he even eat plutonium. Okay, and he was showing everybody that it's not dangerous. Right, so they're lying about that. Basically, a nuclear power plant is they're using plutonium to boil water. Cool, high-tech way to boil water and turn a steam engine. That's all they do. It's making steam. It's not doing nuclear fusion.
And radioactivity, like if you have a Geiger counter, does it measure something?
It's measuring something. And I don't know enough about radiation, and personally, I don't think I want to be around it. But if you look at the old world and stuff, they were like heating and powering stuff with radium or some sort of radioactive substance, and they seem to be doing just fine. So all of that's been taken away from us. That's free energy, and the whole nuclear power plant thing is a hoax.
Okay, and nuclear bombs?
I don't know. I haven't seen them, but as described, they make no sense. They tell us a nuclear bomb goes off, and radiation, 100,000 years, whatever half-life. There's less cancer in Japan than in America. And, they had 2 nuclear bombs go off. And, if you look into it, 3 days after the explosions, the trains were running, the sandwich shops were open, they're selling flowers in the streets, everyone's back to work, and nobody's allowed to report on it. Anyone that took a picture or wrote an article except one guy was allowed to, you'd be put in jail. So a restriction of information a firebomb and video of them setting up new dynamite at the ground zero prior to the blast. Soldiers literally stacking skids and skids and skids of dynamite. Okay.
American soldiers or Japanese soldiers?
I think a combination. I forget, if you really want to learn about it, again, you're not going to learn about it on this podcast right here where we're only going to be talking for an hour. Crow 777 Radio. Are you a subscriber? No. Probably not. CRROW777radio.com. Subscribe to that. It's $8 a month. You don't need to send your kids to school. Just send them there. Okay. And no more college. You just pull them out, and it costs you $8 a month to make them a useful person. But episode 053 and episode 400, they completely they did all the work for you. They did all the research for you. They're not theorizing, not speculating. They're reporting on facts. And you'll find out that it is the nuclear bombs are not as described. And then also we'll all remember, what about the house that blew up and the trees that bent over? Go back and analyze that stuff. There's weird stuff. A car shows up, it's there, it's not there. And they're miniatures. Look at it again with 2023 eyes, and you'll see that that's a miniature. It's a claymation model. Okay. Where was the camera? So
how about atoms and the periodic table of elements?
I don't know. Periodic table of elements makes sense to me, but I think they're just categorizing the charge, how positively charged each item is. And as you go up from helium all the way up, everything has a higher and higher and higher positive charge. It's more and more dense, which makes it more heavy because we don't have a gravitational Earth. We have an electrostatics Earth.
Mm-hmm. 5G internet?
Yeah, it's real.
It's real? Okay, so is it okay? Contrails, are those
contrails or chemtrails?
Chemtrails, sorry.
Well, if I showed you 100 patents and the fact that they admit that they're doing it, and that Bill Gates says they want that they're doing it, and the government admits that they're doing it, and other governments are saying they're not going to allow it in their country and stuff, would you say it's real?
Maybe if I saw that information, but
yeah. Have you ever seen the skies being sprayed to milky white? Where are you located?
New York area.
You're in New York, so you don't understand that they're spraying the sky. If you watch on a blue sky day with cumulus clouds, and then all of a sudden the chemtrails will start coming in, and all the clouds turn into a slurry. You can't see that that's happening.
Are these airplanes loaded up with jet fuel, or
I don't know.
What are these airplanes? They're loaded up with something to spray out.
The pilots would never even know, and I'm not even sure that it's commercial flights that are doing it. I think some of them are, but I think if you look up Kristen Megan, she's an industrial hygienist that worked in the military at a big Air Force base, and she was like, "Why is all of this fluoride and strontium and aluminum coming into our base and being loaded onto these planes?" And she started investigating it, and she literally almost got court-martialed, right? And she whistle blew on it, saying that all of this stuff was being put on these Evergreen flights, and an Evergreen flight crashed, I think, in the Everglades or somewhere, and all the chemicals were released. Okay. So yeah, they're up there. They're spraying. And here's the thing. It's not a theory. They admit it.
But when they load, I understand, when they load an airplane, though, are they loading fuel or are they loading chemicals to spray?
The whole nother story. Go to stoplookthink.com and go to jet fuel hoax.
So there's no jet fuel is not being loaded into airplanes. So they're not.
No, I believe that. I believe there is. I just don't believe they're using the amounts that they say. It's impossible.
I see. So they use much less.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Solar energy, pulling energy from solar panels.
The scientists don't know how solar panels work. They have a theory that a photon is knocking out a boron molecule that lets an electron jump in and creates a current. Or the reason they can't figure it out because they think the sun is a burning ball of gas in a vacuum. Another joke, 93 million miles away, and they're making up stuff to make it work. But in reality, it's just collecting electricity. The sun is sending out electricity, and the solar panels collecting it and putting it into a current. It's very simple, but they can't figure it out because they believe in the heliocentric lie. The heliocentric lie keeps you trapped in a limited world, not understanding free energy. So they're hiding free energy. They're hiding freedom. They're hiding more land. They're hiding more civilizations, if you ask me, and they're hiding God.
Mm-hmm. Quantum computing.
I think it's been here longer than, it depends on your definition of quantum computing, but, like ChatGPT, I think that's been doing stuff for 100 years, So people go, "Oh, how did they make the fake photos?" But they didn't have Photoshop. All of this is returning technology this round of the since the last reset.
Um, Nanochips in vaccines.
So go to stoplookthink.com and go to the COVID page. And one of the top video there is a doctor that basically shows you, yeah, that stuff is going on.
Okay.
Self
Direct air
assembling,
capture.
yeah, direct air capture. What does that mean?
Pulls out carbon dioxide from the air. The United States government just announced that it's investing like $1 billion in
Yeah,
direct air
that's
capture
what
to
they
remove
say.
carbon
And if
dioxide.
they're doing it, that's insanity because carbon is what fuels the world. Everything's upside down in this insane world. And without carbon dioxide, plants can't live. And without plants, we can't live. So, pulling that out of the air is just a way to, create a food shortage, along with blowing up every food processing plant and shutting down everything, buying up all the farms. That's another way to do it.
Could asteroids ever hit the Earth? Have they hit the Earth? Have there been meteor strikes on this planet?
No. There's no asteroids coming down and hitting the planet.
Never happened. Never will happen.
No.
Okay. Rocket launches. Obviously, they don't go into space. That's a no-brainer. I'm not saying they can get through the firmament. I'm just saying the fact that like SpaceX and NASA and other countries like they launch rockets, right? Like, could you go see a rocket launch even if it doesn't make it through the firmament?
Well, they launch rockets, but what are they launching? And you have to have some sort of discernment. You have to be able to look at a rocket and say what is really going on there. And let's spend a moment on this one, okay? So
You're gonna show the video of the SpaceX rocket launch, right?
Oh, you've seen that, okay?
Yeah, I see this one.
So do you think it's real?
I claim this is a very heavily doctored video.
Oh, okay. Well, so therefore you have done zero research. You
I
watched
have. I looked it up after the first time we spoke. I found the original video. It was quite different.
Yeah.
Yours was just highly edited, but that's okay. You can show the video if you want. I don't mind if you show it.
No, that's right. It's okay. I'm happy not to show it.
But the question is, I understand. The question is this though, because if people search for SpaceX launch, they'll see like home footage of like people on their cell phones like watching a very far away rocket launch. Like, are those really rockets going up or
there's
not?
something
Like,
going up there. Yeah, I think they're helium filled, show rockets, and they crash right into the Bermuda Triangle.
Got it. Okay. So let's see here. Right. If I drop it, two objects dropped different weights in a vacuum. Do they fall the same speed or different speeds?
So if you're going to the MythBusters one where they had the vacuum and they dropped a bowling ball and a feather, watch that video again. It's edited like 15 times. Okay. So, I think in a pure vacuum, things would fall at the same rate, but we can't make a pure vacuum. It's too powerful. The air pressure is too powerful, and they can't even create a full vacuum. So when they did it, they were definitely in a vacuum chamber. And there was, I don't know, maybe 90% less air, but that little bit stopped the feather. So they had to edit to make it work. The feather did fall fast, but from up high, the bowling ball would hit faster because there was enough air molecules to slow the feather down. So, why are they lying about, the test that they're doing? They should just say, we weren't able to make a complete vacuum, so we can't prove it.
Why is it so hard to make a vacuum?
Because the pressure, you can't suck all the air out because of the pressure. You've seen when they suck it out of a train car, the whole thing collapses, right? The vacuum chamber they have on Earth, it has I think NASA has or whatever, Sandusky vacuum chamber or whatever. Don't quote me on that. The walls are like 10, 11 feet thick, made out of steel and concrete, so it doesn't implode, and they still can't get the air out. They can't suck the air out.
But like, I mean, when in the submarines they go down underwater, like that's probably way more pressure, though, right? I mean,
that's not a vacuum; they're pressurized. They're holding the pressure inside the submarine, and then the pressure of the water is pushing on a metal submarine. That's fine, and the reason they're round is because that holds the pressure the best, right?
Right.
But it's not a vacuum.
But the submarine that imploded, right? That was under high pressure, right? You know what I'm talking about? The tourists, the billionaires that died recently when they were touring to see the
Yes.
Titanic.
So you believe that story, right?
I'm asking you if you believe it. I do, of course. I'm a normie, but I'm asking if you
So
believe it.
no, I absolutely don't believe it. So let me ask you: you're a billionaire, and you're going to
Yeah.
put yourself into a metal tank that has no windows. Okay,
Mhm.
you're a billionaire. You put yourself in a metal tank that has no windows. It's untested. Okay, and it goes down into the blackness, and you're watching a frigging computer screen. Why don't you just sit up on the ship and watch it on a big screen while you drink a martini? Okay, what's the difference of you being down there, right? And the where is it? So they're down there, and it was called Ocean Gate.
Ocean Gate,
Okay,
right?
Ocean Gate. Why is everything gate like Watergate? Okay, um, it's anybody that believes that that the people would do that is insane. And I think that maybe one of the reasons that they did it is because they don't want people going down there, because it could get to the point where they'll say, well, wait a minute, everything is blown outwards on the hull of this thing, proving that it was an explosion, and then that would unwind like what really happened, and it would unwind the entire Federal Reserve and everything, that entire hoax. So
Mm.
I think it's just another way to scare people away from going down there. Did
Okay.
they kill people down there? I don't know. I wasn't there.
Here's the question. Let's say, like, for some reason, a bet. When you take a bet, someone says, "I will give you $100 if you can answer this question properly." The question is, I drop an object 5 kilograms of a height of 30 meters in the air, or whatever, at some location. How long is it going to take to hit the ground? Would you be able to answer that question? Like,
Well, it falls on an average of 9.8 meters per second, but squared. But did you know that things fall at different rates during electrical storms?
no, I know that.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
So the question is, you confident you would, right? You would be able to get like an
You can
exact
get it.
number.
No, you wouldn't. No one can get an exact number because it's an
No
average.
one can get an exact number.
No, because it's an average rate of falling, because I think it's provable that the electrostatics are what make things go down, and they probably vary very slight bits, right? In the heliocentric world, on a full moon night, you should weigh less.
Hmm. But let's say you need to get really close. Like, do you think you can get really close? Like,
Can
you
meters per
estimate
second
it?
squared. Yeah,
But also, let's say you want to take into account like air resistance. I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah.
can get even better
So
than that,
what's
right?
different? Does that prove it's a globe or flat? No.
I guess I feel like I don't
Let
know.
me
I
show
feel
you.
like
Let me show you how they
sure.
propagandize you. This thing happened, which is a ridiculous story, right? And then hundreds of structural engineers come out of the woodwork. This and that, this and that. This has been around for 50 friggin' years, and nobody will comment on it. Nobody will do a structural analysis of this because you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you believe we went to the moon, right?
Yeah, I do. Sure.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. How is that
What is
possible?
what is light according to like normies, the normie scientific consensus?
I don't even know. Light is, the light travels at 1186,000 miles a second. I don't believe it travels at all. I think it's just there.
Okay. Um, can I tell you quickly in 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, 1 minute, my when I learned about this, I took physics in college. I was studying physics. It was a very boring class. I took this course was magnetism, boringest class in the world. You're solving partial differential equations all day long. You have a magnet here, you have a charge here. What's going to happen? This, that. The most boring equation solving you can ever find. And then over the course of months, we're learning how a oscillating electric field creates a magnetic field, right? You can create an electromagnet by rotating a magnetic electric current around a piece of metal, and we learn how an oscillating magnetic field can create an electric field, and we learn all the physics of this.
Magnetism and electricity are brother and sister. Go ahead. So what does that?
Right, exactly. And then one day when we're like working with these equations, we realize that under a certain configuration, like under a certain oscillation and velocity and orientation of a electric field and magnetic field, you realize that an oscillating electric field can produce an oscillating magnetic field that will in turn produce an electric field forever. Like, it will just continue propagating. And then that day we're like, holy shit, this is light. That's what light is. It's an oscillating electric field, which in turn creates an oscillating magnetic field. My mind was blown. That's
Okay,
my story.
cool. Flat Earth, welcome. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Welcome. Why do you say Flat Earth
Welcome to
welcome?
Flat Earth, because that works perfect on a flat Earth. If it works,
It does?
yeah. Well, it'd have to if it's.
But I think that's the question. I think to me the main question is like, does the scientific community have access to knowledge that regular people don't have, right? Like, that's the question. Like, if nuclear power is real, let's say, that means that there's a class of people who studied physics who have knowledge about the world that no one else has direct visual access to. Like, that's the question, right? And if it's not real, if there's no such thing, then we could say there is no such knowledge. There is no such special knowledge that you have to have a physics degree to understand.
It's all about the fearing the industrial military complex and war. The Cold War was all about nuclear bombs. Now they're trying to fire it up again. Putin's going to drop a nuke and this and that. Right? That's to keep you in fear. What if you knew that nukes didn't exist? What if you knew it for a fact? Every time you hear,
I would be so relieved.
Yeah, that's my life, dude. We have different lives. You're in normie hell. I'm in. Every time I hear, I don't watch the news, but every time I hear something where they say nuke, I'm like, clown, okay? And I'm like, oh, poor guy, he probably believes it, like I don't think any reporters even know that nukes aren't real, and I probably think that most politicians don't know, right? Because they're all just puppets in a show. They're all puppets in a show. What's your best proof that we live on a globe? Let's get to the point.
You might as well ask me what's my best proof that nuclear power exists.
No,
what's my
no.
Proof?
Listen, you know it's not the same question because no, it's not, because you haven't looked at the evidence of what the story about nuclear power and nuclear bombs, and you haven't been there. You haven't seen it. You don't know it firsthand. You're just hearing stories, and the stories, when you actually look at them, make no sense with what a nuclear bomb is supposed to do. Now they've even backpedaled where Neil deGrasse Tyson says nuclear bombs aren't radioactive. Okay. Right. They're backing it down because they know the hoax is falling apart. What's your best proof you live on a globe other than a guy in a bow tie who lies told you?
Again, no, I'm answering. The best proof that I live in the globe is the same best proof that I have that nuclear power exists or that nuclear weapons
What is that?
exist.
What does that mean?
What is that? It's that it's like this. I want to answer the question. Is it possible for me to research and figure out how an airplane works? I believe the answer is yes. I don't know if you say yes or no. Is it possible for me to research?
Scientists don't even know how airplanes work.
I would say yes. Is it possible for me to research and figure out how a nuclear power plant works? I would say yes. There's no secret knowledge here. There's no information which is being hidden from us. If you want to know how nuclear power works, if you want to know how an airplane works, you want to know how a car works, you want to know how a fan works, you want to know how a windmill works, all this information is available because we have institutions of education and books where this knowledge is made available.
So hold on. So that's just a belief system. You're not looking at any proof. Let's look at the geometry of our globe. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that a 6-foot tall person can see the surface of calm water beyond 3 miles?
I haven't looked into these questions. I know that these are tricky, weedy questions that would probably
take not tricky, weedy questions because on the globe, it's required that there's a 6-foot drop at 3 miles. Therefore, a 6-foot tall person can't see beyond that because the water will be below their physical horizon.
How would the 6-foot tall person know if he's seeing beyond it or not? So there's a boat, but obviously he doesn't know the water line in the boat. He might be seeing the top of the boat. What
if you could see?
Are complicated. There's such thing as mirages. Like, these are very tricky questions.
Okay, so
I know that I've seen YouTube.
So hold on. So you're just making excuses, and I'm trying to find a simple picture for you because where did it go? Oh, so this is a very famous one. This is a camera at 1 foot. So the horizon should be like 1.2 miles away. Okay. And we can see the surface of the water well beyond the rig. Now you could say refraction. Oh, look, this is bent, right? Yeah, there's refraction in the air, but refraction doesn't make things pop up from behind a physical obstruction and stop at eye level to prove to fool you. Right. And so here's a clearer one where we don't have to worry about it. This is up high on a mountain where we have clear air, less pollution, thinner air, and we could see all of these mountains, 8 of them. and they're over 700 miles away. Your globe math says the top of those mountains should be over 40 miles behind a physical curve, but we can see them. Do you know what mainstream science says about this? Nothing. They won't address it. Right? You're watching all of my videos and you're still not using your brain. You know what I'm going to say next because you're watching all my videos, but you're still stuck in retard world. Okay. Right. I can call you a retard. No offense. Right. Because you've done the work and you still can't see it. So you have to have a slowing of your brain.
It's possible. Another question. Math. How do you feel about math and math education?
Math is not reality, but go ahead. Math, you can do.
Is math important? Is math a valuable thing to know?
Absolutely, but you can't prove a lot of things with math that are theoretical. You can make all sorts of equations for the stars, but unless you can measure something and have correct variables, you can't do it.
Right. But if a kid, let's say someone you care about or whatever, yourself, someone you know, goes to school and they study advanced math, like they leave knowing a very marketable
math
skill.
Is actually very good. Math is a good thing to know. Right.
And not only is it good and good to know and beautiful and all these things, like a lot of companies will pay you money for that knowledge. Like I studied physics. I didn't end up working as a physicist, but I learned a lot of math along the way. And that math knowledge was very valuable in the marketplace, right? Like in the workforce. Like there's lots of, you can go to dice.com, any job posting and find looking for a mathematician for a job because we need your skills, right? Like that's a valuable skill.
Did I not show the mountains when I was showing them? Was I showing this picture the whole time?
Yeah. Show the mountains now so people can see. Yeah. Show the mountains now.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I hate it when I do that. So here, this is it. This mountain,
these are the mountains.
And you can see them, and the tops of these mountains should be 40 miles below the curve, and that's the end of that. All right. So that kills there's no physical curvature, no curvature, no globe. I got a better globe killer, but I want to show you when you talk about math, we can talk about math here. Okay, we got a photo from NASA. And NASA tells us the diameter of the Earth is 7,917 miles. Okay, so we have a measurement according to NASA. Let's verify that. Well, we can drive across Mexico and Baja, and we could verify this scientifically using a car, a wheel, and physically measure that it's 934 miles. Well, we know that 8.5 of these segments, this size, should fit between these two lines. 8.5 can't even fit 3.5 of them. Okay. So this is using math, proving this image to be a lie, proving it.
There you go. So we agree then that math is a valuable, marketable skill that lots of people are looking for. How about chemistry? Like if someone goes to school and studies chemistry, like did they learn a valuable, marketable skill that companies?
Yeah, you can absolutely. You can make shampoo. You can do all sorts of stuff. You're a chemist.
Okay, but physics, though, if they went to school and they studied physics, like I did,
there's a lot of theoretical physics. Michio Kaku says in the world of theoretical physics, it has never, ever once predicted anything, and that scientists do not use the scientific method at all. They say they're off by 10 to the power of 120. Okay, do you know how ridiculous that is? Right, 10 to the power of 15 is a trillion. You can't.
I'm hearing you say no.
You can't fathom what a trillion.
Valuable in that.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing you say.
What?
So I'm hearing you
theoretical physics probably has some use in some things, but all theoretical astronomy or as astrophysics is a complete pseudoscience with zero value, other than entertainment, and you can probably make movies and all sorts of stuff.
Okay. So there's a big difference between like the math world and the physics world. Like the math people are serious. Like they're doing like serious work, they're learning real things that like matters and like is actually like provable, and like the physics world is like off on their own.
All right, so I got one more for you, and here's the thing: the people like you are kind of amazing because you'll show them something that's undeniable that proves you don't live on a globe, and they hand wave it off, and they want to talk about math, and they want to talk about lights in the sky and everything. You're on an airplane, you're the pilot, and you're looking out your window straight forward, and you see these stars. Are those stars on your horizon? Or are they above your head?
I'd say on your horizon, I would say.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So the stars are on your horizon, and you can see them straight ahead. And now you're going to fly from the Northern Hemisphere down to South America.
Mm-hmm.
Are those stars in front of you on your horizon, or are they above your head?
I would expect them to move. I expect them to go above your head now.
So as you're going, you're saying that the stars that you see on the horizon should rotate. Here is a time lapse going from the north to the south, and these stars aren't processing backwards like
Weird.
a globe would. Hold on. All right. And so I'm going to show you Google Earth is going to show you what it should look like. These stars should be processing upwards. Now, the Globers say, well, that's because the star rotation's off. If the stars, and this is going north to south, they're saying, well, it's canceling because the Earth is spinning and you're just going with the Earth and it's canceling it, or you're going against the spin and the stars are not processing. Pilots have filmed it in both directions. If it's canceling in one direction, in the other direction, it should be twice as fast as it's showing in Google Earth. And neither happens. They do not process. Do you know what this is called?
What's
the
that?
Globe Killer. It's over. Okay.
Killed it.
You have a 3-month-old baby and you're going to teach it.
Don't bring him into this. This is between me and you.
Yeah, well, listen, you need to find out where you live, who you are, and your true power, and bring that baby up correctly. Okay.
I want to find my true power. I want to talk about that also. I know we're running low on time. Here's what I want to understand from this demonstration you did. Google Earth, you've showed us, gives a picture of what the night sky looks like at any place on the globe. That's what you just showed us, and that exists, and I've seen that myself. Your claim here is what you're arguing, what you're demonstrating is that Google Earth is wrong. That's what you're saying. You're saying that according to Google Earth, at 2 different points on the globe, it doesn't actually show what Google Earth says it will show.
I'm claiming Google Earth says what any common sense thinking person would figure out. If you're on a ball looking at some stars over there and you fly here, those stars are now above you. Okay. Because you're looking down, which is level, right? But you're looking down. But they do not process. As you go over, those stars should all be processing. They should have gone up over 40 degrees and they don't. Okay. The fact that they don't, there is no excuse other than the Earth spin is canceling it. Well, if the Earth spin is canceling it, that's like driving in a car and there's another car driving next to you and you're both going at 50 miles an hour and you're like, oh, look, it's not processing. Okay, now turn around. That car's gone. Okay. But for some reason it's not. All right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. People like you will not think about this because you weren't taught to calculate. You weren't taught to actually think, use your God-given senses, and you'll just defend the slave system that's going to make your child a slave just like you.
I'm not trying to defend anything. I just want to talk with you. I'm just having a fun conversation. Okay. I don't want to defend anything. I'm just enjoying this talk. Right. Last question, more or less. You have access to so much GPS data. From
ground positioning system. Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Have you thought about like how to use that to make like the canonical flat Earth representation? Like, because on a globe model, a person walking down the street is going to be moving through much faster in the longitudinal direction if they're on a northern latitude than if they're on if they're at the equator versus on a southern latitude, right? That's the globe model. But you have access to all this data. You have access to this dynamic GPS data. Have you considered how you can like really make the canonical official flat Earth representation of the world using that data?
You probably could if
drive at the same speed.
So people are using GPS all over the world. The problem is it's closed source. The actual code for the GPS is a classified secret. You know why? Because if we saw it, we'd show you how they're hiding the flat Earth. In the southern oceans, it gets really bad. In the southern, they say, "Oh, and when your compass says north, it really means south." Okay, they're literally making you, plot out, and it's hiding the ball. If you want to learn about it on the homeschool section, which you will never click on Schooling Globers, and then I believe that lesson is called I forget what it's called, but you'll see it. It's called I forget the word. It's just escaped me, but you'll see it. Just go there.
Send it to me. I'll put it on the screen. You send it to me. I'll put it on the screen.
Just on the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find it at flatearthdave.com.
Yeah.
Hit the homeschool button.
I'll put it on the screen.
It's called Schooling Globers. Here, I'll just put it up. So
yeah,
here it is, and then you hit Schooling Globers right here. Whoops. All right, Schooling Globers. And then it's one of them. Whoops. Come on, flip over. Oh, I actually hit the thing. Schooling Globers. Oh, there we go. And it's called Horizon Sonar. I don't know. It's one of them. I got to figure it out.
Okay.
It's one of them.
The moon is specific to each viewer, right? Because on the globe model, we say that the moon looks upside down for people on the north and south southern hemispheres. But you would say that it's a personal projection, right?
Well, it's, I don't make really any solid claims about the moon, but we can use the scientific method and verify that, hey, that lines up with that. That lines up with that. It doesn't work on a globe Earth, but it works on a flat Earth. If you look up at the full moon or a big moon on a night with some clouds in the sky, you'll see that it's only lighting up the clouds that appear to be right next to it. It's not lighting up the other ones. Kind of weird. Okay. If it was 238,000 miles away, it would light them all up. Right. So throw a whole bunch of cotton balls on your floor and get a light bulb and hold it really close to the floor, and it'll light up just the cotton balls that are around it, the clouds, but the ones across the room will not be lit up, right? Small light, because the moon is a small light over a big Earth.
But again, like the moon looks different for different people, right? Is
What do
that
you
how
mean
you
it looks
understand it?
different for different people?
Well, because on the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere, it looks upside down, right?
So if
Like
you and I
northern
were in a room on opposite sides of the room and I drew a number 6 on the ceiling, what would you see?
a 9.
Yeah, because it's upside down because the room's a sphere, obviously, right? Or are
Good
we
point.
just on other sides of the room?
That's a good point. But relative to the horizon, I'm talking about, that's a big difference.
The horizon is just the vanishing point of where you can no longer see any farther.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. But okay, so you're saying no. So you're saying the moon is. I just wanted to know if the moon is different for like it looks different for different people. That's all I wanted to know.
Where
So
you
you're
look
saying no, it
at
looks the same. It's the same for everyone.
No, it's
That's all I want to understand. How do you think about that? Do you think the moon is the same for everyone or different for different people?
I
That's
think
the question.
it's that we see the same face of the moon, but you see it from different angles depending on where you are. If you had an arrow on the ceiling pointing to one side of the room, and we had 4 people on one person on each wall of the room. One person's going to see the arrow pointing towards them. The other person's going to see the arrow pointing away from them. One person's going to see the arrow going to the left. The other person's going to see the arrow going to the right. Are they seeing the same arrow? Is it the same arrow?
Yes, same arrow.
Okay, it's the same arrow. It's
Got
that
it.
simple. Your brain has been brainwashed. They've been indoctrinated into believing in this globe. People love holding on to their balls, and they don't want to let it go, but they don't realize that is the bane of their existence.
Let's talk about the liberation which is possible in a human life. First of all, let me ask this question. Is it possible to have the liberation that you feel, the liberation I know so many people you talk to feel, the sense of freedom, the sense of being outside the matrix, 5D consciousness? Is it possible to have that without having a strong opinion about the shape of the Earth, or they go hand in hand necessarily? Like you have to have one and the other.
I think that you'll never live your true potential if you think you live on a globe, and that's the thing. It's to make you small, insignificant, with a possibility of a distant or no God. It makes you feel that we're overpopulated, that an asteroid could take us out, and then you also believe in nuclear bombs, and you also believe in food shortages, and people don't realize. And then you're also stuck on a world where you have to pay for energy, right? And you can make gold with electricity, but it would cost far more in electricity than the gold will ever be worth. Okay. What if you had unlimited energy for free? Okay. Then you could make gold, and gold would be worthless. Okay. So they're hiding all of this to control us. They have us in their fake money system, on their fake map, and their fake shortages. Everything's fake. And they have
books
what?
That explain it?
Yeah.
Can you read a book and learn about it, or no?
There's lots of books. A lot of them are hidden. We're actually adding a rare book section that will all be PDF books for free on the app. Right now, there's tons of books linked on there that you can buy, online. It's just categorizing them for you.
Are there like schools? Are there like schools where you can learn this stuff that are like hidden schools? Like
yeah, probably they're hidden. I don't know about them.
Yeah.
There's like mystery schools.
Right. Okay. What do we do to increase our vibration? How do we increase the
Seek
vibes that we
ultimate
put out into the
knowledge and
universe?
share it with others. And when you're shown something new that breaks your old belief, accept it, get rid of the old belief, take a deep breath, ground yourself, and raise your vibration. Don't just cling on to the nonsense that you were taught that's keeping you a slave. That's all.
What's
That's
the secret to a long-lasting, happy relationship?
um, be real, be honest, understand where you are, who you are, understand your true power, and live follow God's rules, and they're very simple, as I said earlier.
Um, what do you make of all those people in the community that are like super into end times? They're obsessed with like the what's what I'm looking for the.
Well, there's a lot of doomsayers out there, and there's nothing wrong with looking at the reality of our world that we go through resets, and it's not tens of thousands of years. I think it's less than 200 years, and I think that we are coming to a time where things are going to happen that are going to be insane. But there will be people that thrive through that and say this is the greatest time to be alive, and there'll be other people that absolutely are miserable. Right? They're trying to do a lot of stuff, and the thing is, the people that don't wake up and don't pay attention and allow this gift of the present. A present is a gift. All right, the gift of the present to go away when the truth has been thrown at them again and again and again. They're the ones that are going to suffer. Right? It's only those that wake up to this reality that are willing to see their way through it. And we have uh we have guides. We have, we're all have the powers that we need to make it through whatever's coming. And we also have the ability to create whatever's coming. And the problem is there's so many people asleep that the elite are using them to create this reality, this dystopian reality. Let me ask you a question. Do you know what the CBDC is?
No,
You know what a 15-minute city is?
I've read about it. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Do you
Sounds like
know,
a convenient way of organizing structure so that people need to drive less.
is it a good
So
thing?
yeah, as far as I can tell, I would
Are
love to
electric
have a
cars good
convenient place to
things?
live.
Are
What?
electric cars good?
It depends what you mean by good. I don't know. It's
I mean,
complicated. I mean,
do they save? Do they
they run
save?
on coal usually. I mean,
Yeah,
coal power is not
yeah.
necessarily better than running on gasoline.
Let me ask you a
But
question. What would happen in Florida if there's a big, massive hurricane coming, a Category 5 hurricane coming, and everyone's got to leave. Everyone's got to leave, right? And half the cars are electric. What's going to happen on
that
the?
could probably break the grid. That sounds like an issue.
No, no, no.
That sounds like a problem.
One is the power's not even out yet, and
Yeah,
not everyone has their car fully charged, and you're
yeah,
stuck
that could be a problem.
forever. So 3-4 hours into the evacuation, what happens? How many broke down cars you have on the highway?
A lot. Sounds like a disaster.
Now the whole entire highway stopped. Okay.
Yeah.
So now the hurricane comes in and Florida gets a couple feet of water, of salt water. What happens to a car in a garage that's underwater?
I don't know.
It burns the
Probably
house
nothing good.
down. It burns the
Yeah.
whole neighborhood down, is what it does. Okay.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, go Google Tesla on fire. Okay. And the firemen, they can't even put them out. They have to let it burn for hours. Okay. They can't even put it out. Put water on it, it makes it worse. Right. So the fact that you don't understand what's coming, 15-minute cities, the fact that you don't understand that what the CBDC is, the central bank digital currency, on how you'll have money, but if you don't spend it, it gets taken away. You're only allowed to spend it within 15 minutes of your home. Okay. All of this is coming to make you a slave, and you are unaware of it because you don't take the time to look. You don't take the time to understand. You follow the mainstream media, and that's how the world. So that it's no offense. I like you. It's because
I
of
like you
people
too.
that think like you that the end times may come sooner than we realize.
But when some of these people, you talk to them and they're like going on about the rapture and people are going to get, and they're going on about the Antichrist and all stuff. Do you like say, come on? I mean, we're talking about flat Earth here. Like, give me a break. This is like religious.
Well, you know what? No, I'm not a fan of organized religion in that space. Okay. Do I think that there is some biblical stuff that's happening? It's happening right now. Look at these friggin' bugs. Have you seen these bugs that are invading us from China? Supposedly,
Yeah.
they're
I wanted to ask you
crazy.
about that. Did you try to kill them?
You know what?
Spotted
I just learned about them the other day, yesterday, but I was out on the Long Island Sound, and they were everywhere. There was
They're
millions of them.
disgusting. Yeah, they
It's
totally invaded.
insane.
Awful.
Well, that still sounds a little biblical to me, don't you think?
Yeah, it's like a plague in Egypt.
Yeah.
No joke.
So so there's some crazy stuff happening, and quite frankly, I'm looking forward to to just going through it. This is amazing, amazing time. We have the ability to change everything. They gave us a test back in 2020. I'm not going to say what it was, but everyone went home. They stopped working. They covered up their connection to source by putting a muzzle on, and they failed. That was, if everyone just completely ignored that and went on to live their life, all the governments in the world would have fallen. It would have been over. Okay. Government, govern, control, ment is the mind. Okay. That's all it is. It's mind control. And the vast majority of the world is mind controlled, but there's an incredible number of people waking up, and it's happening faster and faster. And hopefully enough people aren't fluoridated or accinated enough where they can actually still use their minds.
The fires that are happening now, like in New York, I don't know about you, we had like a lot of bad smoke from Canada forest fires. There's obviously fires that killed a lot of people in Hawaii recently.
Did you
What do you
watch?
think about those?
Did you watch those Canada fires that they all started at the exact same minute, spread
I think it
across?
was direct energy weapon.
I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but they all started some high tech way, and then if you look at the what's going on in Hawaii, the people, the what's the word, the indigenous people that live there are very important people. And these fires started on 8/8, which is a very powerful numerological day. There's a lot of people talking about that, but the fires seem to be coming from underground. So are they using some sort of underground weapon? If you watch, you probably didn't see it. And I'm not even sure if it's true, if it's just controlled opposition, but a whistleblower from Raytheon in Antarctica said that they have this underground weapon system that they're using that caused the big earthquake in in New Zealand and elsewhere, and that they can actually send energy across the world to cause unthinkable things to happen. I don't know if it's true or not, but there's weird. These fires are just like the Paradise fires in California last year, where the houses are burning to white ash. That's weird. Why white ash? And the trees in the yard are not burned. Okay. So they call it a forest fire, but the forest doesn't burn the house. The cars burn the house. The cars melt. The houses burn. Nothing left but the chimney, and everything turns to white powder. It's kind of weird. It's a new thing.
Yeah, it's true. I saw that because a flat Earth friend of mine, different flat Earth friend of mine, sent that to me, and I was like, "This is fascinating, interesting stuff." But he's writing to you from Antarctica, so isn't that why isn't he whistleblowing about the fact Antarctica doesn't exist?
No,
But
who says Antarctica doesn't exist except normies that are stupid about flat Earth? Okay, no one thinks
I thought it was
Antarctica.
an ice wall. I thought it was like an ice wall around.
No, it's not. See, that's because you don't pay any attention, and you just believe anything you hear that the mainstream media tells you. Okay, so Antarctica is the shoreline of our world. Do you understand that? You've seen enough of my stuff.
Yeah.
You know it, right?
Yeah.
And if these are the stations that are supposedly there. I know this one's here. I know this one's here, right? So you go there. This little area right here along the shoreline is bigger than the United States. It's huge, right? Okay, and you could work there. What does that tell you? You're told you're on a continent on the bottom of a ball. You're really just here. And Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It's the shoreline that holds in our water. Large bodies of water at rest lie flat.
Yeah. All right. What, Dave? Just let's be real for a second. Talk about psychology, because I think a lot of this. I think you are an amazing example of someone who just has like amazing energy. You give off like incredible joy and positivity, and you're a joy to talk to. But not everyone feels like you do and lives like you do. So if you're willing to share, what's like a dark place you've been, and how do you get out of those dark places and sort of find the expansive, loving consciousness that you always seem to have?
You're not you, everybody. Your only enemy is yourself. Everything in your life, good or bad, is your fault. Okay, all of it. We're here with God-given free will, And everything that we allow happen to us is because we allow it. Oh, it's not true. I'm working. I do it. And when you believe you live on a ball and you're lost and you watch the news, they're controlling your mind. When you come home from work, your slave job, and you're commuting and you get home, you're exhausted and you eat your crap food and then you watch Netflix, you are literally wasting the present of life, the gift that you have. So once you understand where you are and you go out in nature and you look around and go, wow, look at that rock. What the heck was that? And then you start understanding, you look at the buildings in your own town that were supposedly built in 1925 when we couldn't build it again today, when we had horses and buggies, okay, and no power tools. All right. Once you start understanding where you are and who you are and you take your power back, life is amazing. Okay. I was doing really well before I was in the matrix. I had my own company. I believe we live on a globe. I believed in evolution. I didn't believe, a lot of stuff. And then I started knowing, and life just gets better and better every single day. So that's the answer. Stop being an enemy to yourself. When new information is presented in front of you, you need to readjust your life, but people are lazy. People are like, I don't want to retool my whole life because then I have to admit I was wrong. I have to admit I was fooled, and it's stupid. It's ridiculous. So, you can lead a man to knowledge, but you can't make him think, but you can make him drink. Okay. So, what I tell people is I'm not saying don't drink alcohol, but that's all people do. They go to work, they come home, they drink alcohol, they watch movies, they watch sports, and then Monday morning they go back to work. And they think that because their freaking football team won, that they have a victory. It's total mind control, bread and circuses. Stop. Get out of it all. The only sports you want to watch are kids, Little League and stuff like that. Unfortunately, Little League leads them into believing and worshiping in sports idols and all the money and everything. It's all complete and total control. Think of it. If we didn't have sports that give us our victory, and we knew that there was more than the circle they put around us with Antarctica, and we knew that there was free energy and they won't give it to us, and we knew a lot of other things, well, that's a horrible life. I would never want to live it, but that's where everyone's living. Okay. And they just don't know it. It's literally, they're stuck in the matrix and they're like, don't unplug me. I just want to live in the matrix. I'm doing good. I had an extra $500 after this paycheck that, we're going to plan a vacation. If I could do that 5 more times, I'll be able to take my wife on a short vacation. Okay. That's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. I mean, my life, I was doing extremely well. And now I walked away from money. I didn't do this for money. Okay. And now I spend 2 months in Mexico in the winter. You know why? It's cheaper to live there than it is here. People are like, how can you do that? I've created freedom for myself. Right. I didn't know how I would do it. It was shown to me because I started appreciating all the gifts that are thrown at me. Everyone, this stuff is thrown at you every day. I'm here showing you things that you may refuse to see because it's been a year. It's unthinkable to me that you can still believe we live on a globe. It's unthinkable. That's why I said your brain is slowed. You know what another word for slowed brain is?
I do.
Okay.
Well, you're also spreading beautiful messages about finding freedom, and you talk about putting out good energy in the world, and I think you embody that, and I'm happy that you put that out into the world, and I think more people need to find their freedom. I don't think it's through believing the flat Earth, but that's okay.
Well, so here's the thing. I showed you proof that we don't live on a globe. Show me proof that we don't live on a flat Earth. Show me proof that we live on a globe. Show me one thing. And when you can't, you have to ask yourself, what the hell? Why not?
If you agree that we can calculate how long it takes an object of a specific mass to fall from a specific height,
it has nothing to do with the shape.
What you're saying is that physics has formulas that are extremely precise and extremely accurate, and those formulas were derived by an understanding of gravity. and those
No,
formulas were derived by
no,
an understanding of gravity, which
you're
evolved
wrong.
from understanding of the way the celestial bodies
You're
interrelate
absolutely
to
wrong.
each other.
You're absolutely wrong. You're
If you
100% wrong.
believe that we can create laser pointers or like energy devices that can clock the speeds of different moving trucks and things like that in the highway, then you have to acknowledge we have an apparatus for understanding the way light.
What does that
operates,
have to do with the shape of the Earth?
What do you say?
What does that have to do with the shape of the Earth?
Because all these things tie into gravity. All these
No,
things tie
gravity's
into
a theory. You've watched my stuff. You know what they say about gravity. It's a theory. They made up 96% of it. Okay. And it's never been seen, right? It doesn't work. And they say electrostatics is 10 to the 36 power more strong. So I can show you electrostatics are real. I can prove it to you. Okay. And I can demonstrate it in real world. You can only give me the theory of gravity, which is only 4% right. If you want to even say that, they say electrostatics is 10 to the 36 stronger. How could you ever assume that something goes down because of gravity, the made up theory, when electrostatics is stronger? How could you?
I think there's a misconception here.
What?
I think it's a misconception. I don't think gravity is an explanation for why things fall. It's a description of how things fall. I think that's so.
You're wrong. There's no proof
Tower,
ever that the mass attracts mass, other than calculations and theories. There's no.
It's proof. A description.
There's no proof. It's a made-up story. It's a made-up story. Okay, I can show you. You've seen my gravity demonstrations with the electrostatics. Yes.
No, that one I don't remember.
Okay, so but we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's gonna be a good way to end.
So on a flat Earth, we're crazy. We think that down is down for everybody, right? But flat globe makes sense. Everyone on the opposite sides of the world is standing antipodal to each other, antipodal, right? And when I say how does air stay to the Earth, not get sucked into the vacuum, you go, well, gravity's holding the air down. Gravity is making this empty balloon flop. Okay, why isn't it stretching it down? Well, maybe gravity is not that strong. Okay. Right. So I put air in this. What's this air trying to do? It's trying to escape in every different direction. If I put a hole in the top of the balloon, whoosh, the air is going to go up. It's going to go out. Air fills the available space. So there's more pressure in here. And so this proves that gravity is nonsense. All right. So Walter Lewin himself from MIT says that, we live, it says, it's the electric forces that hold.
Is that Walter Lewin? It doesn't look like Walter Lewin.
It's Walter Lewin. You stop watching Flat Earth, though. What's his name? Who says it's not Walter Lewin? Okay, I know what you're doing.
Walter Lewin looks very different, but okay, it's fine.
That's him. Google it. Okay.
I believe you.
Listen, now I know where it's coming from. You're watching. What's his name? I can only want to say his name.
I love Walter Lewin. Walter Lewin got me through my physics courses in college because I was like not attending, and Walter Lewin like helped me survive. So I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay, so we live in this electrical system where the sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode. That land is a salt bridge. The water carries the current. The salt water carries the current. Okay. So here we go. Here is I got some helium balloons left over from a party, and I got a button right here, and it's just floating a couple inches above the floor. And we have a wire that goes to a Van der Graaf generator. And now we are going to just add a slight positive charge to the battery, right? And to the pin, the button. And when we do, it goes down. Did we make it heavier, or do we just add a positive charge to it? And then when we discharge it, it goes right back up. Okay. So that's a theory, a hypothesis. And we showed, okay, the ground has a neutral charge. The air has a positive charge, and the ground's not moving. So anything that's positively charged will go down to the ground. Okay. So can we do the opposite? Absolutely. We add a negative charge to the tinfoil, and it goes up. If we put the charge in it and keep it on it, it'll stay up. Now, we define gravity, or we defying electrostatics, right? We're defying electrostatics. So here is from MIT, their silent drone. Have you seen this? Silent drone? No moving parts. They're just changing the electrostatic charge. They're putting a negative charge into it, maintaining a negative charge, and they can fly it. No moving parts, no sound.
It's ionic wind, right? This is ionic wind.
No, that's a theory. There's no wind coming out from underneath it. It's floating.
No, I think if you put it, there would be air coming down. Like there's ionic fans, right? There's bladeless fans.
No moving parts. There's no
bladeless fans have no moving parts.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a bladeless fan?
I have.
Search for bladeless fan. Dyson purifier. It's the same technology.
No, there's a fan inside that thing that's blowing it out a thin little
You
crack.
think there's a fan inside a bladeless fan?
You know what? If I'm thinking about the same thing, it works. Here's a Russian guy that did it, the same thing, and he got this thing. It floats. Okay.
Yeah.
So are we defying gravity or not? So
ionic wind is a real thing. It's a super cool
your listen. Your gravitational model says that the electrostatic force that I just demonstrated is 10 to the 36 power stronger than gravity. That's your gravitationalists. Okay. You can't fathom what 10 to the 15th power is, let alone 10 to the 36. A trillion times. If I punch you in the head and you said, ouch, what if I punch you a trillion times harder? You would be dead. It would blow up the whole neighborhood. Okay. It would actually be a nuclear explosion. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's 10 to the 15th. Okay. So the reason they say, here's my theory. I used to say I don't believe that it's 10 to the 36 power stronger because it's just too much. I think it's because the attraction between masses is so infinitesimally small that it has to be 10 to the 36 power stronger to represent the weak force of the downward flow of energy. There's literally a measurable downward flow of electricity into the earth. It's always there. Now, during an electrical storm, it changes. Things fall at different rates. Lightning strikes next to somebody. What happens? They go flying in the air. Why? Because you changed the polarity of the earth. Did you get rid of gravity or did you fuck up the electrostatics? Okay. So electrostatics actually prove that, I don't know if you say it proves it. It replaces the ridiculous theory of gravity. Maybe there's something else that we haven't figured out yet. Okay.
I know if someone's going to figure it out, it's going to be you or someone in your community of flat earthers that are actively working on these problems.
Okay. Is that it? We done?
I'm good. I'm done. If you want to ask me anything or whatever, I'm around. But if not, then we can call it. This has been Do
you have a proof of the globe? Can you give me one proof of the globe other than you want to measure how fast things fall? Give me a physical proof of the globe. We live on a physical globe. Give me a physical proof of the globe.
Okay. In a solar eclipse, or let's say, which one is it? Yeah. Is it a lunar eclipse?
Which one?
Solar eclipse. Where you can see the shadow of the Earth on the moon.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
So it's a lunar eclipse, and you're told that it's a shadow of the Earth on the moon. Okay. But in reality, that is not true because one, you can't cast a shadow 250,000 miles away. Get a basketball, hold it on a wall with a light, or put it on the ground, and you got the sun above you, and then lift it up 10 feet in the air. The shadow's gone. Shadow just fuzzes out. So you believe that we can cast a shadow onto a moon that shows a curve. Okay, shadows, they just vanish over distance. You can't physically show me a shadow that far away like that. And the other problem is, are you aware of the Seleninian eclipse?
No.
Okay. The Seleninian eclipse is when the moon and the sun to the observer are both above the horizon, proving that the Earth is below being in line with them. And then the eclipse starts, and the eclipse sometimes comes in from the top. Wait a minute. The Earth is down here. It's supposed to be blocking the sunlight, but both are above the horizon, and the shadow comes in from the top to make it worse. Do you know what the science community calls that eclipse?
What?
The impossible eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's impossible in your heliocentric system. They're rubbing it in your faces. The Selenian eclipse nickname is the impossible eclipse. But hey, we live on a ball, therefore there has to be an explanation. There is none.
I got another one. How about the fact that hurricanes travel in different directions in the northern and southern hemispheres?
Yeah. So again, I show you something incontrovertible, and you just change the topic. I'm okay with that. Hurricanes go in different directions because of and by the way, they don't all the time. So because the sun and the moon, they're going around in between the tropics. So so they're creating a wake. Okay, let that go by. All right, new flat earther every time you see that.
Love it.
All right. So they're creating a wake. What happens when you push your hand through water? right? Or paddle.
It's a wave.
Counter rotating vortices on each side. One goes clockwise, the other one goes counterclockwise. It's the same thing. It's the wake of the sun and the moon. However, many weather systems have crossed over when the sun and moon weren't closer. Maybe that's the reason. I'm not sure, but they go into the northern or southern hemisphere, spinning in the wrong direction. If your belief was real, that could never happen, but it happens often. There's systems that are spinning in the wrong directions, but they don't report about that on the news. Okay, because it's really, the Earth has to be spinning because it's a globe, right? Next, you got nothing. You have nothing except being lazy and believing nonsense.
I believe in entrepreneurs like you. I believe
I'm not an entrepreneur.
Have,
I'm just seeking the truth, man.
I believe that you have the power to build a company that will be a wonderful place for flat earthers like yourself and a wonderful community. And I believe it's the same exact tool and mechanism that someone like Mark Zuckerberg, who came from a very different background,
Stop
from much more money than the Harvard elite, was able to do.
Yeah.
And I believe you are going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg.
All right.
And I'm happy for you.
So you're insane, okay? And you're lost in your globe world. Do you have a globe proof? Do you have one?
I gave you mine. I'm out. I'm all out.
All right, so you don't have any. So now ask yourself why you still believe this? Why you still believe in it? Why? Because you don't want to retool your life? Because you want your kid to grow up in the same thing that you have? The same lost world? Go watch Plato's Allegory of the Cave and put your wife and you in there, okay? Because that's where you are.
Dave, I love talking with you. I love your enthusiasm. I have nothing but positive feelings. I get nothing but positive energy from you. And this was fun. And I'm excited to post this, and I hope we will do it again.
When are you posting it? Because I can't wait to share it.
Post it tomorrow or the day after.
All right, send me a link when it's up, all right?
Will do. Awesome.
See ya.
All right, Dave. Have a good one. Let's hear that.